So here we are, game number 1. It's a best of 1 round, first round of tonight's Go for SC2, and we have got 2 spectacularly good players that I am super stoked to be seeing play. Spawning up in the top left-hand position, we've got the blue Zerg player representing himself. Now, it is Dimaga. And his opponent down in the lower right, the red Terran, representing Ajax Gaming, kauP. Actually, it's not Ajax, it's Alternate. I get that wrong. Alternate Gaming. I know, I thought it was Ajax. Is there a team that's even called Ajax Gaming? I don't know this sort of thing, but I assume. Do let me know on the quality of the video, by the way, people on stream. And also if you're watching on YouTube for the VODs. I've just switched to a new streaming PC and stuff, and so I've upped the quality to 1080, I've got 60 frames per second running, all of those sort of good things, better encoding, etc. So I really want to know, does it look pretty? And if it does, that's great. If it doesn't, I'm gonna be fiddling around with stuff more. Now, in terms of openings from these two, which I have glazed over a little bit, but hey, we're only 2 minutes into the game. Nothing funky's happened yet. We've got a gas first, out of kauP. This just means there will be a much faster factory. The advantage of this is quicker Hellions, and since the recent changes, allowing Hellbats to come out with just an armory, or Hellions to transform into Hellbats with just an armory, it's a very common build that you can sometimes see. We've also got the proxy barracks. I can't believe I missed the proxy barracks. I was too busy talking about stream settings, but yes, it's game number 1 of the evening. Please forgive me. kauP going pretty cool. It wasn't a gas first. I take all of that back. Gonna be hitting pretty quick. Bear in mind that there is this little cliff edge up into the main base that you can sneak through. Dimaga, he opened hatch first because why wouldn't you? It's up against a Terran. It's always safe to do that, right? Not if a bunker is being made in your main. Dimaga can't see. He doesn't know. Does he have anything rallied over? This Overlord is gonna see. He knows. He senses. In come the drones, going to be trying to kill off that SCV because it never came back down. That was the giveaway for it. Quite a few drones getting pulled in. Comes the Reaper. The bunker will be cancelled, and that's kind of panic over momentarily, but a drone will unfortunately perish at the cost of this. The SCV comes back in thanks to being still alive to continue construction of additional bunkers. Another drone going to be getting taken down, and while this isn't dealing too much damage, it is slowly chipping it away. Plus, this is quite a bit of lost mining time just from these drones sitting around and doing very little. Cancel down the bunker goes because that SCV is all dead, but not much else is really going off the back of this. We do have the factory now begun back at home, but otherwise just a couple of Reapers, a pair of Reapers, going to be trying to cause a bit more hassle for Dimaga. Dimaga has got a fair few Zerglings out, 6 of them in total. Just trying to find some way to force these Reapers back, but to be honest, it's the Queens. They're the big damage dealers against these Reapers, the big tanky units, and they've got the range just to try and zone them out further, so we're going to be seeing a lot from those, or from the one Queen at the moment. There's the second one just popping, plus 2 more on the way, and they're going to be really important. Cute little trick coming in from Dimaga there, using some Lings just to block up that ramp, just to try and mix up the pathing of those Reapers, maybe allow the Queens to get a few more shots off. But for the moment, it's just retreat, back away. These 3 Reapers going to be waiting for the assistance of a couple of Hellions before doing much else. However, what's quite interesting, we do have kauP adding in just a single Hellion at a time. No reactor. And actually putting the command center in the way of where that could be built. Considering he's a GM player, this is purposeful. Almost guaranteed, as opposed to something that he's done accidentally. Although I know every time I play Terran, I never accidentally block off where add-ons could go. I'm just saying, it's the bane. It's why I can never play Terran, because I just can't deal with that. Zerg and Protoss, I can just about manage, but Terran, no. Anyway, Reapers, they're on their way back now. They're going to be trying to find a bit more damage done. Maybe catch Dimaga off guard, thinking that, hey, I'm safe now. I haven't seen them for a while. Let's drone heavily. Maybe try and take a third, but no, Dimaga, he's too cool for that. He knows what's coming. And is just wandering these Queens down, actually getting very aggressive with them. Does score a kill on one of those Reapers, but only the one. We've also got the armory coming back at home for kauP. And as I mentioned right at the start, quite an important building to be factoring in early game. now for Terry. Thanks to being able to morph these Hellions into Hellbats with just that armory finished. Starport also on its way down. This could lead to some drop tech, could also lead into some Banshee. We'll have to wait and see what Kaup does have planned for that. For the moment, just a little bit of dueling going on over this ramp. The spines from the Queens and obviously the bullets and flames from the Hellions and Reapers. Neither really coming out on top. Overall resources lost fairly similar, slightly more for kauP, but it's 2 Reapers compared to 3 drones. Swings and roundabouts, nothing too much of a difference there. If we take a look at what else is happening, this is probably the biggest thing on the map right now, the Roach Warren. Getting this down is going to really help in dealing with this further aggression coming through, and I'm really glad that Dimaga has identified that he needs it. But what's more cool is note that there is the lair coming down, and there isn't a sign of a third base yet. If we don't see that shortly, it's definitely going to be a very aggressive play coming down from our Zerg, and he could very well go to try and kill his opponent. Seeing this very harassment heavy opening and just thinking maybe I can make something good happen here. Armory is researching that +1 upgrades. The starport actually already has got out of medevac, so drop's going to be coming in, but is now getting a Viking in order to force back a couple of overlords. Double Hellbat drop, going to be trying to get some damage down. Nice pick up and drop micro being utilised. Remember, medevacs can heal up Hellbats, and that's always an important thing to think of. Medevac does boost away, leads 1 Hellbat to die, and with 5 roaches now hitting the field, probably not going to be able to achieve that much more with Hellbat drops, especially when there's only 1 in there. Still waiting to see if much else is coming, and it's actually a lot of roaches now for Dimaga. He's going up to a lot. Actually going to hit 10 roaches straight away. Wait and see what he does with these additional 7 lava. Does have no supply block and there's an awful lot of supply banked up, so I'm suspecting we'll see quite a few more roaches hit the field off the back of this. It's just the lack of gas that's preventing from making too many. So drones coming through now. Over on kauP side, just going overlord hunting. Has found 1 so far. Going to be looking for obviously a couple of more, just to gain a lot of map vision and a map control with this. But once the overlords go down, Dimaga just going to be looking to use the speedlings. They serve a similar purpose, get a lot of vision, allow you to see different move outs. Except speedlings, they're pretty much immune to Vikings unless it does decide to land, which probably not something that we'll be seeing with just 1 of them there. More roaches now being pumped through, taking us up to 16. Quite a big commitment, and it's all going to be tying in with this roach speed and 1-1 upgrades. But what a money scan! See so many roaches here. This is absolutely huge. Dimaga has been revealed. Seeing just all of these roaches kick through should be an instant alarm bell for kauP, who's adding in a few tanks. Currently having to contend with 1 lone Zergling chipping away at SCVs. Does see the fact that it's a mech style play, but with a 3rd factory being added in now, tanks coming down, this is going to be very challenging for Dimaga to try and make much progress with. Roaches doing a nice little bit of damage. You've got +2 starting as well, but the roaches, they're on their way across. Will the tanks be able to hold this? The supply depot wall off frantically being constructed, and it needs to hold for a long time. Just find a way for this tank to get as much damage down as possible, because aside from the tank, there is very little here to try and hold this. A lot of SCVs are being picked up at the front, but the wall off is staying alive. That's the critical piece to the puzzle. kauP's tank only gets 2 kills, but the Vikings racking up a couple of kills as well means that, for the moment at least, the roaches pull back until reinforcements come in. A 2nd tank now here, the wall off still in position. Dimaga, he's flooding a lot of roaches now. That's pretty much all he's doing. He has restarted droning, but can he break this down? Every second he waits, it gives more chance for things like Banshee to come through, gives more chance for additional tanks. Everything the kauP needs to try and stop this roach push in, but it's going. The tanks, one of which isn't sieged up, starts shelling out that damage. The supply depot goes down, and that is a big problem. SCV's being pulled, just trying to block this up, prevent the tanks from being all clumped up and unable to engage. A good amount of damage is still coming through, but so many SCVs dying through this push. Dimaga dealing a lot of damage, but the tanks will be able to hold the line. 30 SCVs to 60, now 71 drones. Can the Mulehammer really pull it back here for kauP? He's down a base. He's taking a bit of counter damage just through some harassment, but 3 workers killed compared to 28, that's not the sort of number differences that you want to be seeing, no matter what your race or what the matchup. A Raven now also coming through, and this may seem like a slightly odd thing to add in, but a good thing that you can often see off the back of this from Zerg players would be burrow tech. And there's one thing that really you need against that, and that's a lot of detection, and so the Raven's actually quite a nice choice there. I'm actually going to be denying this 4th hatch. Should be able to do a fairly good job of it as well, since their only anti-air is in the form of these queens. They should be able to get over there in time and try and start picking it away, but not going to be the easiest thing to try and stop long term, and this hatch has now been made quite vulnerable. Banshee, get away. Good Banshee. She did her job well. So this hatch, not in the greatest spot, going to be a bit low on health, but with 3 queens there on max energy, can always be transfused if Dimaga really feels the need to keep that. The Spire is nearly completed, and this is where we're going to be seeing some Mutalisks. But bear in mind, kauP, he's already got a Thor out. What about missile turrets? He's sitting with just 2 of them, 1 in each mineral line. So he is a bit vulnerable to harassment in the skies, but whether or not enough Mutas can come out, we'll have to wait and see. Only enough money at the moment for 8 of them, maybe 9 by the time that Spire's done, but still, it's a lot of gas investment, and with a Thor already here and more potentially on the way, that's something that Dimaga does need to be very, very careful about. Dimaga though, is also going for that infestation pit, not doing anything too crazy as of yet. Viking just going to be taking down another Overlord. That's his 3rd kill. Nice work there, little Viking. 4 Overlords in total have died. Really paying for itself in terms of that harassment, but also doing a great job of just hiding map vision from Dimaga, who can only really see as far as his creep spreads. And that isn't that far for kind of 16 minutes 50. It's only coming down a single tunnel in the middle. Dimaga heading around the right, going to be trying to sneak in the back, I suspect, to try and navigate around this tank line that's amassing near the front. Otherwise, Dimaga, he's up to 5 bases now, adding in that static defense, adding in the +1 air weapons. He is really focused on the late game now, and with 90 drones, he's got the income to support it. The only trouble with going for this real late game kind of emphasis is that's what kauP's doing as well. Going mech, yeah, you're gunning for late game anyway, and this is playing into his hands. What won't be playing into his hands though is the fact that these rocks are getting taken down. Does kauP see? Does he know? He's not paying any attention there until now. Instantly pulling back all of his stuff. Going to be trying to deal with some of these roaches. Good reaction to putting up those supply depots, preventing the roaches from coming in. With this mech force coming back, we're not going to be able to get much damage done. A few more workers killed, but in the grand scheme of things, not too successful to the Dimaga. Creep again getting taken out, just trying to force back this creep spread, prevented from getting just too close for comfort on kauP's side. Dimaga adding in a 2nd Spire and that hive, we're probably going to be seeing Broodlords here. And Broodlords up against mech, they're a damn good option because they force the siege tanks obviously out of siege mode. Otherwise they'll start shelling each other with the Broodlings. So Dimaga really playing this somewhat like a Wings of Liberty based style, going for those Broodlords rather than the swarm hosts that you will sometimes see. But the downside of going swarm hosts is while you can get them out sooner, up against a mech force, it's very difficult to try and actually close down ground because the siege tanks just deal enough damage to stop it from doing too much. Viper's also coming through here. Now this is a good addition, especially if you want to hit a bit quicker than the Broodlords maybe would. But hey, if you can get a few nice blinding clouds down, get a couple of good abducts, you can get some great damage down with the Roach Hydra Force, especially with the +3 upgrades coming through. What's also interesting though is the addition of that Enduring Locusts upgrade. And the reason that's interesting is because while we do have the double Spires, Dimaga's still going for those swarm hosts in quite a late stage of this game, up at kind of the 20-minute mark. Going to be quite interesting to see how heavily he commits to those. They definitely can do a lot of damage if the blinding clouds and or abducts are good from the Vipers. But it's an ask that it's an extra added layer of complexity, whereas Broodlords in some ways are easier to utilise to great effect. Banshee now getting some good damage down, focusing off one of those gas geysers, and actually knocking that out is a bit frustrating. At 100 gas per minute there never will be. Queen also going to melt very, very quickly. These Banshee just racking up kill after kill, avoiding that single spore caller very nicely, able to actually damage down this hatch without that spore getting any damage off. It will now fall. There's not any Queens in position. And how's Dimaga going to respond? With aggression. He's going to be going for it. He's going to be trying to get some damage down. Coming in from the back as well, but tanks are there. At the front, the blinding clouds are good. Stopping these tanks shelling away at too many of those Hydralisks, but the command center actually acting as a good physical block, preventing the Hydras from closing up the distance too well. Dimaga did not do that much damage there. Forced to cancel on a command center. Lost all 3 of his Vipers though. And that's actually a big loss for him. It's quite a sizable chunk of gas. And it also means that there's no real way for this composition to engage into the tank lines without them. Without the blinding clouds, the Hydras will just get vaporized by those tanks. So Dimaga, he's got to wait, getting 4 more back out. He's continuing on with the double air upgrades, potentially for a late game Mutalisk switch, or for some Broodlords as well. But Dimaga, he's just prioritizing expanding, keeping on a bit of pressure, but not doing anything too crazy. Quick scan now comes down. The Thors and tanks going to be trying to siege up to save this command center. Easily going to be able to do that. It's only smoking a bit, no fire yet. And of course, this just means that kauP is going to be able to secure up yet another base. He's continuing on with his command center production, but Dimaga still fairly happy. He's sitting at 4 bases, what is at 5 for quite a while, going to be going up to 6 now as the stuff expand works. But kauP, having reached that 200 to 200 army, may start looking to move out, may start looking to try and get a bit more damage done. Alternatively, he'll just sit back, turtle, and turtle some more, because turtling is awesome. At least if you're a mech player, it is. Sick base has been discovered. These Banshees just racking up the damage against it. There's no spores here. A couple of Hydras are going to be trying to make their way across. Hydras do incredibly well up against Banshees. The hatch should just survive. 215 health. Just a little bit annoying. Potential vulnerability for Dimaga in terms of the late game. He's got the 3-2 air upgrades coming through. Got a ton of scans coming down now from kauP. And this is really smart by him. He just wants to know, is there anything here that I can't deal with? The answer, if blinding clouds hit well, yes, a lot of stuff. Because there's just no damage output when those tanks are completely taking out the fight. Currently only 3 shelling through, but in a tight zone such as this ramp, damage is still enough. Gonna be forcing retreat out to Dimaga, who, in terms of resources lost, sitting about 4,000-ish more resources down compared to his opponent. And now the tech switch comes through. 28 meters. Seeing only 2 Thors and a couple of Vikings, Dimaga going to be going for this. 30 Mutalisks on their way. This could be good, but can he hold long enough? Can he actually get them all out in time to go for the trade? The Thors have to be focused down nicely. And Magic Box. If they get too many shots off the popped up group of Mutas, it could all be for nothing. In come the Mutalisks now. They get right on top. The Magic Boxing is nice. Focusing those Thors quickly. The Vikings getting a bit of damage down, but is it going to be enough? The siege tanks, they're focusing as quickly as they can, but they're having to unsiege and run away. 3 being sacrificed, trying to buy the time for the rest to get away. 4 Thors in production simultaneously. These Mutas, if they're going to be effective throughout this game, or for the rest of this game, it can't last much longer. The Mutas have to start going for this. Hydra's coming in for the flank, getting a nice bit of damage down. Will get a command center on fire. Will SCs get that in order to repair it in time? We'll have to wait and see. A lot of tanks being donated to these Mutas now. They're unsieging quickly, but the damage is just so good. 3 attack upgrades about to come through for these Mutalisks. They're contending up against the missile types. They've got a lot of burst damage. Thors trickling through as well. I say trickling through. 4 coming at a time. 4 Thors beating down these Mutas, which are pretty clumped at the moment. So Dimaga will need to be very, very careful with how this goes. The Thors are getting focused. Magic Box down. The Muta count, though, not as high as it was before. Down to only 22. And with Thors coming from the side, that's a big splash damage hitting through. Only 1 Thor there at the moment, though. Additional mines also coming through. Going to be trying to just pick apart this Mutalisk flock. Because all while it's here, it's pretty damn scary. A couple of Hydras making slow progress through additional command centers. The Ambushing Fortress of this 4th getting focused out as well. Dimaga doing a good job. biding his time to get this tech switch out and has really put his opponent in some troubles now. The Thors still bombing out though, and they are making a lot more progress, especially with those 2 mine hits on the ground. The Mutaflock evaporating. Only 7 remain, but the tech switch yet again coming through. More roaches coming down, swarm hosts coming down. All viable options due to the tank count being highly diminished. A couple of Hydras still trying to get a bit of damage at this third. Not really too much that can be done. And it's actually kauP who's getting very much starved of his overall income. kauP trying to cling on these tanks sieging up. Mine gets a nice hit to the side there, but there's just so many roaches here. Things are looking very good for Dimaga as this game goes on. Roaches incredibly strong up against Thors. GG is called, and Dimaga will advance into the next round.